Hello, welcome to the Opinionistics. I'm your host, John Malone. In this episode, no co-host, because reasons as always. Introducing from Creston, Dave Brummett.
Well, good morning.
And afternoon to you too.
Afternoon to you. Sorry. Morning here still.
Yeah, time difference, it happens. Alright, so Dave, what is it that you do for a living?
I'm a drummer percussionist, I call myself, as my main trade. I've been playing for about 45 years in all kinds of different situations, different genres, live and studio. Now I'm basically a weekend warrior. I play on the weekends between the day job and still enjoy it. I still teach both drum set and hand drum percussion lessons, and I build and repair as well. So
Okay.
mostly a drummer, I'd say.
Alright, sounds good. What inspired you to become a drummer?
What inspired me? Geez, I'd have to say the first thing that piqued my interest was when I was in elementary school. I was probably about grade 4 or 5, maybe, I'm guessing. And I saw the school band that was playing in the gymnasium. And the girl's name was Rhonda Royston on the drums. And she did this fantastic drum set solo. And that piqued my interest from there on in. It wasn't until years and years later that I had a drum set and became a drummer. But I'd say that was the first thing that got me going. Yeah.
Fabulous. What was life for you growing up?
Life for me growing up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was all right. I had a good life. Family of 4 kids. I was the youngest of 4. And yeah, we had a good life. Mom and dad were great. They were together till the end. They're both passed now, but yeah, had have to say a normal life. Not like unfortunately, not everyone has their parents stay together till the end, and we had that kind of life. It was great. Good, healthy upbringing, I'd say.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Are there any jobs or opportunities you haven't done yet that you would like to do someday?
Jobs or opportunities I'd like to do? Boy, well, I'm 60, so I have a few good years in me left, I hope. I'd like to keep on teaching and pass on what I've learned as a drummer and percussionist to others. That's what I enjoy most about teaching, is seeing someone else taking my advice or my experiences and learning from that and becoming a drummer, whether it's just a basement drummer where you play along to CDs and have a great time just playing and letting off some steam, or actually getting active and playing with other people, and to the point of maybe playing live and performing for audiences. Yeah, so
Nice.
that's what I would like to do, is keep influencing that way. Yeah, I think the media now is out there for me now. I can do any kind of video or recording myself at home, whereas in the past you have to pay a lot of money for any kind of studio work. It would be, basically beyond the scope of most people's budget to even do a podcast in the day when I first grew up. Now it's all available to us. You can get all the software for recording at home, video editing, everything. I can do what I want now. So I'm hoping in my years to come, I can get right into that and spread what I've learned and experienced to others.
Fabulous. What was the largest thing you have ever seen?
The largest thing I've ever seen?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Like any kind of thing? Event?
Yes, literally
Object?
anything.
Actually, anything. Boy. Actually, underground at an old mine workings out of Grand Forks, British Columbia. I live in Canada. Grand Forks has an old mining history, and up in the hills beyond Grand Forks is a place called Phoenix. It was one of the highest mining towns in the copper era when copper was booming. And there's old remains of mines there. And a buddy of mine and myself went up exploring there, and I saw these underground stopes, they call them. That's just huge, bigger than any Costco warehouse you could imagine. And these things go mile after mile back into the mountain, like a bunch of warehouses underground. And it's just amazing what they did back then with dynamite and picks and shovels and very little safety gear. They had gloves and maybe a hard hat if they're lucky. And just, that was actually mind blowing. I thought going into a mine shaft was one thing, but seeing these huge underground caverns where they were working up on wooden scaffolding that they built with the timbers of the day, it's quite amazing. Yeah. So I'd say that's a pretty big thing I saw there. And a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people don't have the guts to go underground or could even find that kind of thing easily. So yeah, that's a pretty big thing for me. I remember that for the rest of my life. I miss those days actually going underground and exploring. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, very cool. What should they teach in high school, but they don't?
Sorry, say again?
What should they teach in high school, but they don't for some reason?
I got lots to say on that. Less algebra. I thought that was personally it was great to have a taste of algebra. Yeah, if I became a bridge builder or an engineer or physics maybe, but I found 2 years of algebra, 11th and 12th grade. We could have been doing things like life skills, learning how to budget yourself, learning how to do your taxes, maybe learning how to shop, all these kind of things that in my era, some kids were out of school or out of the house actually right after graduation. So at age 17, we're on our own. Gee, it, you know, sure would have been nice, I would have say, to have some life skills taught rather than a lot of fluff. I'll say they might have done that to maybe fill the time. We did a lot of Shakespeare. I must say was interesting, but I didn't want to do a whole entire year of exploring Shakespeare. I thought that was, to me, a waste of time. I would have rather seen creative writing or resume writing, how to write a letter to your loved ones, things like that. Skills I think that are dependent on life are missing in school. They'll teach you a lot of things that are academic, which is great. And I think that's fantastic. We all need that. We all need math. We all need English skills. We need social studies, geography. That's very important, even chemistry. But I think they're missing a few things. Yeah.
Fair
Life
enough, fair
skills.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of writing have you done so far?
I've done from the beginning of my writing, which was a young lad before I even got published with anything. I was into science fiction, so I've written a lot of fiction stuff. Never published any of it, never finished any of it. But once I got into, I took a writing course, an online writing course, and I got into that and realized it's kind of freelance writing where we were set. My wife and I were both freelance right off the bat. She was right into recycling and how to better utilize your trash. So she wrote a lot of articles, freelance writing, and I edited and helped write most of those articles with her. I edit all our work together. And we found there's a sort of a market for that at that time. This is the early 90s would have been. No, late 90s, sorry, yeah. So 99 and on. There's quite a move for the recycling and how to better manage your output of what you throw in the tip, the landscape, or the trash. And so we published a book based on all her writings, all those articles that she had quite a vast collection of. And so I went on to edit and do mostly that at first. We did that together, and we also, my wife and I, Lillian is my wife. We write everything together, sort of as a team. She does a lot of the background work, all the research is her thing. She does all the research and compiling and everything, and then I take it and I usually compile that and re-edit it, and I do all the graphics, I do all the photography work, everything, all the layout. But I haven't written anything of myself, like the fiction of my own writing yet, but that's still to come. I still have some time. So so far we've written that one book called Trash Talk. It's a 2-book series. We compiled a collection of Lillian's poetry called Towards Understanding. We wrote a book based on everything we've learned as self-published authors, all the tips and tricks that you need to know, sort of thing to get your book out there and get it noticed, because the book is called Purple Snowflake Marketing. And the reason behind that is because, like a purple snowflake, we can make your book stand out in a crowd or a snowstorm of other books. Because right now, and for the last, I don't know how decades, there's been so many books out there since digital and online. There's a lot of authors getting their books out there. So how do you stand out? How do you make it look like, hey, you're a little bit different? And this book that we've published does exactly that. It tells you how to stand out in that snowstorm of other authors with tricks you can do without a high budget. So most of us self-published authors don't have a lot of money to put into our books. If you do, that's great. But if you don't, this book shows you can do it on your own with a computer at home. And it teaches you how to stand out in a way that you're not like everybody else. You don't advertise the same way. You don't do the same kind of portrayal, you're just a little bit different. And this book tells you that. Another book we've had is a collection of both of our poetries. I'm a poet in that I write lyrics for songs. I'm a musician, so I've been writing lyrics for a long time. So my poetry is more lyric based, a little bit different than Lillian's, but Rhythm and Rhyme is that book. It's this one right here. That's a collection of both our poetries. And what else have we written together? That's it. And my dad's poetry, actually, I'm starting to work on his a little bit. My dad just passed a while ago. He was quite a poet, and he's influenced both of us a lot in just how he writes. His style is really neat.
Wow, that's a lot of books.
Yeah, we're keep busy.
Yeah, very good. Where was the furthest you traveled to from where you're originally from?
Let's see. The furthest I've been is probably up to Fairview, Alberta, is north of where we are in British Columbia. I traveled there as a musician. We did a lot of touring through BC and Alberta, and Fairview was the furthest north, I believe. That's kind of a college prairie town above Edmonton. If you know where Edmonton is, it's a bigger center there. And south of that, I've been only as far as Spokane, Washington. So not very far traveled. I'm happy in British Columbia here. We have beautiful forests and lakes and rivers and streams. And I'm kind of a backwoods camping type of guy. So I'm happy with just exploring our own province. I could do that for my lifetime and never get bored.
Yeah, sounds good. If you could live anywhere else in the world, where would that place be?
If I could live anywhere else in the world, well, that's hard to say because I'm not world traveled and I don't really know the tropical countries. I'm sure I'd want to play or go somewhere where there's a lot of drumming and percussion, possibly. But yeah, I couldn't really make a call on that because I haven't traveled outside BC, Alberta, Washington State, or Idaho State. That's my little circle I've been in. Yeah, I couldn't really say. I couldn't make that call. I'd have to visit somewhere first and check it out before I'd want to live there and just say, yeah, that's the place.
Yeah, fair enough. If someone wrote a book about you, what do you think its title would be?
Yeah. I don't think I can say that on the air. No, I don't know. I'm hoping all around nice guy, dog lover, hopefully a good drummer. I try to be a good musician, not overplay. Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one to say. I'm hoping to
Fair
my
enough.
drum students, someone that passed on a lot of knowledge and helped them out in their journey to be a drummer or whatever they want to be with drums, whether it's casual or professional or weekend warrior. I hope that's what they say about me.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you rather speak all languages or talk to animals?
Talk to animals.
Nice. Have you heard of a drink called banana friche?
Sorry, what's that?
Have you heard of a drink called a banana friche?
No, I have not. No.
Fair enough. I get that from a lot of people.
What is it?
So it's a banana flavored smoothie slash milkshake that has all the tingly sensations in the world.
Like carbonation or what kind of tingly sensations? THC?
Something fizzy.
Okay. Huh. Well, I like banana smoothies. We do a lot of smoothies ourselves, and banana based is kind of a nice thickener, and of course, it's good for energy and potassium and things. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind trying one. Are they available here in Canada? Any idea?
Well, it's not a thing yet, but eventually it will be. So, but the thing is, we just don't know when. So it'll just come at us when we least expect it.
All right. I look forward to it.
Me too. Would you sleep on the wall or sleep on the ceiling?
Sleep on the wall or sleep on the ceiling? I think I'd sleep on the ceiling in case there's floods. And then you can look down at the crazy people coming in.
Yeah, good call. I'd say the same.
Keep an eye on the zombies. I don't think they can climb high, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can never be too safe.
That's right.
If you were given 500 acres of land, what would you use that land for?
Oh, I've been ready for this question. If I ever won the lottery and had that opportunity, I would probably build a dog ranch for all the dogs that need a home or fostering until they find a home. I'm a big fan of Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, and he's got this great concept where he cures dogs by taking them to a pack of dogs where they're all happy in a big yard and great surroundings where they have all their energy burnt out and kiddie pools for water. The happiest place a dog could be is with a pack. And he takes dogs that need rehabilitation and takes them to this pack. And within moments, most of them are like, "Oh, this is how I should act." And that just made me think, yeah, if I ever had acreage and the ability to do it, the time and the funding, it takes a lot to feed dogs, and it would take a lot of time out of your day. But I would do that all day if I could. Yeah, that's what I would do. And
Sounds
maybe
great.
maybe a section for some drumming in the corner somewhere too. Yeah.
Yes, of course. If your mind was an island, what would it look like?
Mine was an island. It would probably look like an cluster of islands with all different pieces here and there, thinking of this and doing this. I do many different things: handyman, dog trainer, drummer, writer, painter. I just do so many weird things. Yeah, what do they call it? Archipelago of islands, something like that. Big cluster.
Nice, nice. Have you ever thought about living off the grid?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah. That was our dream. Of course, we live in British Columbia, where there's forest right outside our back door. Everywhere we've lived, it's very accessible. And yeah, that dream has always been something in our mind that we could, yeah, love it, just love it. Solar panels and some wind power, or whatever it takes to live off the grid. It would take an investment, of course. You can't just do it on a small budget. But yeah, if that was something I could do, I would definitely look at that.
Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
nowadays with the cost of things. If you could generate your own power and have your land taxes be a little less, things like that, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, of course. What app can you not believe someone has not made yet?
What app? Oh boy. Let's see. I've had a few weird ideas. I can't recall right now. How about the Apple app? You can point it at any apple you want, and it tells you what species or brand that apple is, whether it's Honeycrisp or Macintosh or Delicious, Golden Delicious, whatever. I can, name so many apples. There's dozens and dozens, but yeah, the Apple app. How's that?
Mm, okay, that's actually very interesting. At first I thought it was the Apple device app, but not just an Apple identifier app. So yeah, that was confusing for me. Would you never age physically or never age mentally?
By choice, I would like to never age mentally. Hopefully, I'm saddened when I see someone with dementia and Alzheimer's. Lots of people I've known have gone through that. Yeah, but it's a tough one because you see your body breaking down too, and it's yeah, either one. But I'd say I'd like to keep my mind till the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Just thinking. Do you know a guy named Joe?
I know a few Joes here.
Okay. Is
You
one
know
of
him too?
them, do you know Joe Mama? You know? No?
Joe who? Sorry.
Joe Mama? Okay, fair enough. Do you prefer headphones or earbuds?
Typically I prefer headphones. Yeah, yeah. I've got weird ear canals that kind of take a sharp turn, I guess you call it, and earbuds aren't always comfortable for me. So I find headphones, even though they can sometimes crush your ears, so I get the ones that have a bigger cup and your ear can go inside that, and I find that's a little more comfortable. However, if I'm in the yard doing garden work or something like that, where I'm going to be, pretty hot and sweaty and stuff like that, I prefer earbuds. That's a little less cumbersome.
Yeah, good
So
point.
it depends on the situation, I guess. Yeah. And for
Yeah.
drumming and recording, I always use headphones.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say the same thing. But my circumstances, whatever's most comfortable lying down.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Headphones usually can't be comfortable lying down, of course, but yeah, earbuds are good for
Yeah.
that.
Would you rather not be able to open closed doors or not be able to close open doors?
I'd rather open a closed door. That sounds more positive to me.
Yes.
Because
I like that.
an open door, why would you want to close that? To me, an open door equals maybe opportunity or something new. And why would you want to close a door on anything?
Yes. I'd say the same thing. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I'm an insomniac, so I'm up till all hours. So usually I'm not to bed early. I read and do whatever I can to sort of try to make myself sleep, and that could be till the wee hours usually. Of course, because I've you know dozens of years of shift work where I've had to be up 12 hours in the middle of the night and as a musician, I've played till 2 in the morning, and then of course you don't sleep right after that. So my clock has been sort of deprogrammed from normality quite a bit. So I sleep all over the place. So I'd say I'm a night owl, but I can also wake up for the day job 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and do both. So one thing about being an insomniac is you can get by with a lot of sleep because you're used to it. Unfortunately,
Yeah, true, true. Do you like spicy food?
I do. Yes, yeah. I cook curry and Mexican and Chinese and whatever I can. I like to emulate what I like from a restaurant. Sorry, that's another book I didn't mention is our recipe book. I totally missed on that one. We're both cooks, and I've been in the restaurant trade for a lot of my life, and I've learned to reverse engineer any dish I've had at a restaurant, and I've loved Thai food, it's East Indian food, Mexican food. So I learned how to cook all that kind of stuff and apply it to pretty much anything you want to cook, whether you like this or that vegetable or this kind of meat or not. Our recipe book is kind of based on variations. If you like this type of dish, but you don't like the peppers in it, you can put something else. And here's the variations listed at the bottom. So yeah, I'm definitely sorry to get off track. I'm definitely a spicy food lover, and I love making renditions of that people can eat that don't like spicy food necessarily. So the flavors there of the ethnic group that I'm cooking of, but not the incredible heat that some can be associated with. And of course, Indian curries are not for everybody, so I also tame that down a little bit too. I don't make the full strength of the actual spice, and there's a difference between spice and the heat. Spice is the flavor, doesn't necessarily mean hot. It means different flavors, coriander, cumins, things like that. Those are all spices that they don't have heat, but they have flavor. And fortunately, they all have sort of medicinal properties in the body. So spicy food, not necessarily meaning hot, is really healthy to eat. And yeah, I love it. How's that for an
Yes,
answer? Sorry to go
that's
long on that.
great. What is your favorite quote?
I'd have to say my favorite quote is I don't think I'll have it verbatim, but it's Alfred Einstein. And he said basically, why clog your memory with a bunch of irrelevant things that you can look up in a book or reference at any time somewhere? Your brain is like, this is my take on that. Your brain is like a hard drive, and you only have so much capacity. So why clog it with a bunch of sports trivia or memorizing this certain oil filter for the Mazda 1975 Mazda when you can look it up? Don't clog your memory with a bunch of stuff that you don't need to. Save it for the stuff you need to remember, like when you're standing in a grocery store and you can't remember what the heck you went there for. Things like that. Yeah, so that quote from him basically says, why commit anything to memory that you can look up in a reference book or you can reference somewhere else?
Yes, that's a very good point. If you were hosting a dinner party and you could invite 5 guests who are either dead or alive, who would you invite?
Oh boy. How about Alfred Einstein to begin with? Nikolai Tesla. I'm a big fan of his sciences and inventions. Neil Peart, very big influence on me as a drummer. He's passed since. That's three. Let's see who else. Maybe Bruce Cockburn, very amazing Canadian musician. Check him out if you've never heard of him. Bruce Cockburn. And number 5, let's see. Boy, that's a tough one. I'd have to say probably John Good. He's the president of DW Drums in California, Drum Workshop Drums, DW. And he's the type of guy, they call him the wood whisperer. And he'll go to foreign countries and find trees that have been submerged in a river for 2,000 years and use that wood for making drums. And he's got the science of layering plies of wood into a resonant tube to make drums, whereas most drum makers just make a tube, right? He makes his tubes actually sing with resonance the way he lays them up uh, and orients the grain on different layers. And he's just a master of the science of making drums. And sounds like an all-around good guy. I see him on videos and stuff, and I just like to sit down and yeah, have a coffee and talk to him for a couple hours.
Yes, fabulous. Great lineup. If you could travel back in time, what decade would you want to live in?
That's a good question. They talk about the good old days, but when you look back, those good old days were pretty hard times for people. With not the conveniences we have nowadays. So I don't know. I kind of think that I'd like to be back in the pioneer days of opening up this country for people to live in. The farmers and the pioneers that made homes out of sod and logs and struggled. That's kind of my thing. I could picture myself being that kind of guy, and yeah, starting a farm, opening up some land, working hard.
Yes, absolutely. What was the last book you've read?
The last book I read, oh, that's a good one. It's been a while since I read a paperback book, actually. I think it was Lucifer's Hammer, actually. A book by Larry Niven, I believe, is the author. That's quite almost a disturbing book. It's about a comet that's about to hit the Earth, and it does hit the Earth in the book, and the cacophony that follows from then on in. It's like makes you realize, in a way, it's not the zombies you got to worry about. It's the people with guns and people that want to take what everybody else has when there's no law and order around. And yeah, it was quite a disturbing book. Yeah, that one almost made me think, yeah, let's go live off the grid and hide in the hills, or be ready to, because that's how a lot of people survived. They basically went into the hills and grouped together, commune style, where they all helped each other and helped to fight off the people that wanted their stuff. Yeah, so it's a disturbing book, but entertaining in a way that it's like, yeah, it opens your eyes to reality. What
Yes.
could happen if things go wrong?
Yeah, indeed.
That's kind of a negative thing. Sorry, but that's the last book I read.
I know. But of course, it is true, though. It is very important to know that not everything's all unicorns and rainbows. Like, we all gotta have our struggles at some point, and it's very important that we know how to deal with that. And once we know that, life isn't so hard as you think it would be.
What's that? Sorry, I didn't catch that last question.
What I said was that it's good to know that at some point we'll have a point in our lives we will go through struggles, and knowing that struggles and life isn't going to be as fair as we think it would be, we'll go through life all right than we would originally thought.
Oh yeah. We always seem to persevere. Mankind, in a sense, is pretty tough species. It's and I don't fall into the panic of watching the news or following social media streams of panic and things like that. You got to realize that there's so much information out there. It's almost like an overload, and some people don't need to know the horrors of what's going on overseas because there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
It's not callous to say it, but it doesn't affect us at this point. So it's good to know what's going on and be sensitive to that, and be compassionate and have empathy for what's going on, but don't wind yourself up in it and get negative and monitor every bit of news that's coming out, because a lot of it is just trying to get you to watch the news more.
Yes. It
And
has
I went through parents that watched a lot of news, and I saw their angst and their over sort of angst, I have to say, is the only word I can think of, over things that they couldn't control or that was so far away from them that it's nothing they can do about it. So this
yeah.
negative feelings that people get from this overabundance of information can be a bad thing. You have to take it all with a grain of salt and not get wound up in it, I think.
Yeah. So true.
Stay local. What can you do in your neighborhood, in your city, in your province? That's what I'm concerned about myself. That's what I can affect and what affects me and what I should be worried about. Not, unfortunately, I know there's bad things happening all over the world, but I can't affect that with anything I do. Even if I write letters, I don't think that's going to have a big impact to anyone that would listen to someone else across the world that might care. I do care, but I don't want to clog my life with things like that. That there's enough going on around me now, and in our own world, that if we don't concentrate on that. It's where would our energies be better done, locally or internationally, where we can't do anything unless you have money or power to do such a thing. Stay local, do what you can, and then worry about that.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. And that is all we have for this episode. It was great having you on, Dave, talking about
All
your
right.
drumming and percussion works and so on. It's been great.
All right. Thanks for having me, Peter.
You're welcome. And until next time, stay opinionated.